Sara Davis, welcome to A.PUTNAM's Women in Golf.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're so excited to chat with you. We've gotten to know you a little bit. Of course, it started kind of social outreach and just working together. And then it's fun to kind of backtrack and learn more of your past and how you got to where you are as the PGA professional over at Cacique. And you're also a TPI certified trainer. So
Yes,
you're
all of
busy.
that good stuff. Yes, very busy.
That's amazing. Well, we can't wait just to hear how you got here. And I always start these conversations off with how you got into golf. Like, where did it all start?
Yeah, so my golf story, it's pretty fun. It's pretty unique. I went to college on a volleyball scholarship, and my college got a football team that we didn't properly budget for. So I was in broadcasting and was kind of like jokingly putting my feelers out once word had kind of spread around campus that scholarships were going to be cut due to needing to fund the football team. And I was actually interviewing one of the golfers and completely joking asked if they were looking for golfers. And they were, to my surprise. And long story short, the next day the golf coach calls, and then the following day the volleyball coach calls, and they're like, the golf team will give you your money if you're willing to go over and join the team. So my first time playing 18 holes was in a college tournament. I shot 136, didn't know the rules, didn't really know what golf was, but I knew that I loved it and just continued to practice and grind. And my senior year, which was at the peak of COVID, I won a tournament and I was finishing in like the top five of all the events I was competing in. And just felt as if, God had put me in the path of where I should be headed, and graduated college, got into the golf business, and here I am today in Kiawah.
So I cannot get over this. Might be probably, I mean, the best introduction, like how you got into golf story I've heard so far. Obviously, that goes to prove how good of an athlete you are. So I have to ask one. I'm assuming through high school and everything, you volleyball was your sport.
Mhm.
Did you play any other sports than volleyball?
Yeah, so growing up, I was an athlete. I was a gymnast from 2 to 14. And then when I quit gymnastics, my parents were like, you need to understand the importance of a team sport. So I tried soccer, which I didn't like. Then I played volleyball and softball. And it was just so funny how it all came full circle. And I was landed back into an individual sport.
Mm-hmm. And golf at one. And I cannot imagine the feeling of going out, obviously for a new sport. One that the whole situation went down, that scholarships were pulled to pay for football. Like, that's kind of mind blowing, actually. What
Hmm.
school is it? Is it a D
Lawrence Tech. It's an
Lawrence
NAIA
Tech?
school in Michigan.
Yeah, in Michigan. Okay, where are you
Hmm.
from?
Michigan,
You are where in Michigan?
just outside of Detroit. It's called
Okay,
Grozeal.
okay, got it. I've probably been around there since I'm in Cleveland, and I used to work over in Troy, Michigan, and
Oh,
up to
yeah,
Gaylord a lot.
yeah.
I was just
Uh-huh.
in Union City, Michigan for spring break, which
Okay.
you probably would get a kick out of. But um, so that's too funny. So you're a Midwest girl
Yeah.
and transplanted south, obviously.
Yes. Yep.
Smart.
Got
I
away
kind of
from the
wish we
gray
had done
cold.
that. But so you went to college in Michigan. And then what year was it that you jumped into golf?
It was 2018. So I've been playing for about like 6 years now.
Okay. And 2018, what were you a sophomore?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Got
Yep.
it. That's wild. What division is it?
NAIA, but golf is
It
kind of
is.
strange. You almost compete
It is,
against
isn't it?
like all the different divisions, just depending on the tournament and when spring breaks are and
That's
all of
kind of
that.
actually that's so a neat piece of it. And I've never dabbled into the sport other than casually. So there's not like a D1, D2, D3
Yeah, there
standard.
is. And then you'll compete like within your conference.
Got it.
However, there's a lot of other tournaments that you can play against like a bunch of different divisions in.
Okay, amazing. So
Yeah.
you shot 130 something in your
Uh-huh.
first
Yeah.
tournament. What was that feeling from
Yep.
there? Did you have a feeling of defeat? Or were you like, I have to start somewhere and here I go? And
Yeah.
especially like
So
coaching too. I'm assuming they obviously saw something in you. Like you're coachable, you're an athlete, like we can do this.
yeah. So my first tournament, I mean, I went out there, I was using my mom's golf clubs.
Uh-huh.
So expectations were so low. Like I said, I had never walked a golf course and I had never played golf. So
Yeah.
I pretty much was thrown out there with one of my teammates and we were competing as individuals and it was kind of like a here Sarah, you go out and see what golf is like. And I just couldn't believe how cool of a sport it was. The fact that there's really no coach standing there the whole time. It's pretty much like all right, here's the lineup. You're shotgunning on this hole and you just go out and there you are in nature. And obviously I was an indoor besides softball athlete. So
Yeah.
it was awesome and it was up north in Michigan. It was
Hmm.
fall, so it was cold, but it was just I thought it was the coolest game and it was awesome. The tournament that I finished in, it was actually a day that we were scheduled to play 36 holes, but weather was coming in and I came inside and all of my teammates just could not wait to come and talk to me and see how the round was and see how the experience was. So it was almost like everybody cared what I was
That's
doing
cool.
no matter how bad I played. And then from there I
It's
pretty much got
encouraging.
back and I was just like, all right, let's go
Let's do
work
this.
on this. I mean, this is the
That's so
bottom of
cool.
as bad as I'm ever going to be. So,
Yeah, right. Only up from there. And then what
yeah.
year was it? I mean, how long did it take you to get to a point where you're like, I'm competing and I'm like going to continue to get better, but really felt like
Yeah.
you were playing up to par with these other athletes?
It was about 2 years into the journey. My like the year and a half. Well, it was fun because in golf, I always say this to my students because now I teach golf. Is
Mm-hmm.
it is such a. It's not like volleyball where you're serving and you just get better and then all of a sudden you're a good server. It's like okay, you go from 136 to 135 to 134. Like it's a
Constant.
constant climb and I would say it was like finishing up spring season. So golf in college is also 2 seasons. It's spring and fall.
Mm-hmm.
It was wrapping up that spring season and then summer and then going into the fall season that I was like, I really think I can do this. But so I finished my degree in 4.5 years and it was like the unfortunately the flip side the spring season was when conference championship was and I wasn't going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to compete in that so it was kind of like that last little all
Yep.
right like I got to go all in this season and then that was the season that I won a tournament
That's so cool.
and I was graduating so it was like I just knew that I wasn't ready to
Yeah.
walk away from golf and
That's so
I'm
neat.
fortunate for the PGA for being able to continue competing and teach and every day is just it's such a fun journey.
That's so cool. That's really neat and touching story, just how you came into that. Now, your degree, did you end up graduating in journalism or broadcast? Do you say broadcast journalism?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. And so
Yep.
when you were, I mean, were you job hunting for a career in that space, or were you immediately like, I'm hanging
Yeah.
on to golf?
That's a really good question. So I actually during the mid of my pursuing golf and also being a broadcaster, I thought I wanted to be on the golf channel. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to cover golf. And so I started what was called Junior Golf Network. And I traveled all over the United States from Thursday to Sunday covering junior golf tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 4 months into that I was like, I want to be playing. Like I don't
Oh,
want to be standing here recording and asking questions even though that's an
yeah,
awesome thing to do. It was like I want to be the one swinging the clubs and I want to be the one telling my story and
that's cool.
impacting people whether it be through hearing my story or through being moved by how far you can come in golf in such a short amount of time.
Right. Right. Yeah, the story of your own is really neat. So from there then, you left kind of that rotation. What did you do?
I jumped right into the PGA. So
Mm-hmm.
I was pursuing jobs in broadcasting, but just knew if I was broadcasting, I was going to be sitting behind a desk a whole lot more than people think that you do,
Yeah.
digging out stories. And I always jokingly say, like, I can do that when I'm old, when I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like super energetic and don't feel like
Yeah,
standing on the range hitting golf balls all day, which that day
mm-hmm.
may never come and I may never be on TV,
That's
but that's
so
okay.
true.
Um, but yeah, it was, I was actually fortunate when I was doing the broadcasting with the Junior Golf Network. I was in Orlando and got word of the PGA and had no
Mm-hmm.
idea really what it was, but I was lucky enough, and I tell the story a lot more now than I ever did, to land a job at Detroit Golf Club, which is home of the Rocket Mortgage. And
Mm-hmm.
I was I jumped right into like a beast of an operation, and I got to
No
see what
kidding.
busy life is and managing two golf courses and selling clothes and giving lessons and helping run the women's program. And then you start to
That's a
get word
lot.
about how little women are in the golf business. And you're
Yeah.
like, wow, I can really make an impact in this space.
That's so cool. So what year was it when you went to Detroit?
2020.
Okay. And what was it like doing, I mean, jumping into that during COVID? Busy, or was that
Crazy.
period in which they were navigating how to handle COVID in golf?
It was kind of like that weird phase where it's like you have to wear masks, you don't have to wear masks, like
Right.
there's so much
Yeah, Michigan was pretty
fluctuation.
strict too. I remember.
Yes. Yep.
Uh-huh.
But it was kind of like on the tail end, but golf has still, since COVID happened,
Oh
been
yeah, boomed.
booming everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
a young membership in Detroit for the most part. So it
Hmm.
was eye-opening to me to see how eager people are to play golf in the snow in Michigan.
Right. Especially having been cooped up. I think it was an outlet no matter what the
Yes,
temperature was. They made it happen. It's
exactly.
so funny. So when you were working there, what was your title?
I was a shop assistant,
Okay.
but I was fortunate enough to assist in all of the events. My boss was
Hmm.
great. He let me just pretty much try everything and do everything. And then I was fortunate enough, I like ran the Tiny Tots, which was
Oh, cute.
5 to 6 year olds, which was the
Yeah.
best. And then
Uh-huh.
I helped with the beginner women program and running our
Neat.
women's days.
No, that's so neat. Now, were you
Yeah.
also managing the shop from the merchandise standpoint, or were you,
Hmm.
yeah. Oh, I mean, you
Yep.
had a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
were
I did.
you in that time, were you playing at all?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm always like that crazy person that works at a golf course and will try to play 3 holes every single day, no matter
Oh,
what the
that's
day looks
awesome.
like.
No matter
Yeah.
how burned out you are for being there.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, they can be long days, but it's probably refreshing to focus on yourself a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what was after Detroit? Like, what was your next jump?
So then I moved down to the Keys. I've had some incredible jobs, and that's one of the best things about being in this business is you can
Mm-hmm.
pretty much put your finger on a map and go move there and get a job in golf.
Yep.
I went down to Card Sound, which is the private club within Ocean Reef in Key Largo,
Mm-hmm.
Florida. And I
Cool.
lived there for 6 months. And then I moved up to the mountains in North Carolina, where I was the first assistant for a season. Then I went and had one of the most amazing jobs ever at Lifetime Performance down in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We did
Cool.
golf and tennis fitness.
Oh,
And
fun.
then super cool from there, I went back to North Carolina, Roaring Gap Club, and I was the director of golf instruction and fitness. So then I was able to
Neat.
combine golf and fitness and bring them
Mm-hmm.
together. And yeah, now I'm
So
in
I have
Kiawah.
a couple questions about that. So
Yes.
I guess with those jumps, and this is a little bit of understanding how I think the industry works, and I know people shuffle around a lot, and it's such a small community. From all those changes, were you looking for something new, or are you kind of in this pool of people where you get contacted and there's not competition, but like outreach and,
Yeah.
finding people and things like that.
Yeah. Um, both, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for something year round more than anything because living and living a lifestyle where you move every 6 months is difficult if you don't have a home base in one of those 6 month spots.
Mm-hmm.
And difficult as in two storage units in different locations and driving and finding 6 month apartment rent, which doesn't really exist. So I was burned out on that aspect. But in terms of searching for jobs, I'm not someone that's afraid of a challenge if my golf
Mm-hmm.
story doesn't tell it. And I
Mm-hmm.
am willing to try something no matter how crazy or scary it may seem. But being a woman in this business, out of 29,000 golf professionals, there's 1,000 of us. So
I
it
didn't, that's
is,
number is kind of staggering,
yeah,
actually.
it's the opportunities are endless being a
Yeah.
woman. It just depends on what you want to do. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that what I've done up until this point is discovered what I wanted to do. And when I first got to Detroit, my boss was like, well, you're going to have to identify what you want to do. And I was just like, wait a minute, like, I don't even know what I'm doing, let alone what I want to do. And then it's funny because now I'm like, wait a minute, I'm starting to identify what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
And
now
so
it's just about finding a place that will allow me to do it, you know?
right, right. And that's kind of cool. I think that you've obviously grown in your skill set and having done things you're like, I never want to do that again, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
figuring out this is where, I'm happy and it gives me energy and, you're passionate
Mhm.
about it. So I know a
Yeah.
component of this is obviously, like you said, the fitness side. So I'm assuming that's where some of the TPI certification came in. So when
Mhm.
did you go through that? Like, when did you decide? Did you have a mentor, somebody that introduced you to it, or how did you find out about TPI?
So, I'm very fitness inclined.
Hmm.
I Olympic lifted in college and I spent so much time in the gym in college. They were like, you might as well just have a bed in the back office because
That's
you're
crazy.
literally here all the time. Between volleyball and golf, we had like a hitting bay inside the gym.
Yeah.
Um, but once I got into golf, I remember working out because like golf was such a trial and error thing for me that I spent so much time in the gym, but I learned very quickly like you're not really supposed to be lifting super heavy like you might
Hmm.
as a volleyball player.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like fast twitch, explosive movements within our bodies.
Hmm.
So once I was in the golf business, I learned like by seeing Justin Thomas's videos and just
Hmm.
I think Titleist has been or TPI has been around a lot longer than I've been aware of, but it
Yeah.
was pretty soon. Like once I left Card Sound, so about a year in to working in golf, was just like, I want to get TPI certified and I want to know what that's about and be able to offer
Yeah.
that to my
Yeah.
clientele and just be able to work with a company as big as they
Right.
are.
Right. And so I know there are different levels, right, of
Hmm.
TPI. So
Hmm.
what level or focus do you have in within your certification?
Right now, I'm certified in level one,
Hmm.
and I'm currently wrapping up my PGA. So once I'm class A, it's kind of like we're going to go fully into so many other certifications level two, level
That's
three at
cool.
TPI. And then I'd
Hmm.
like to be LPGA certified and
That's
who
so
knows
cool.
what else.
Yeah. I
So
honestly,
much for
I mean, I've,
graduating and being like, I'm going to shut my laptop and not do bookwork for a while. And
no,
I
no, it came
haven't
right back
done
at
that.
you.
Not once.
But probably feels a lot different than college courses and in school, I'm sure. A little bit
Yes.
more interest and
Yes.
passion there. I'm sure of it. That's so neat. And so I'm sure you've
Yeah.
met, and we have too on our side, met some wonderful women within TPI. And you're still a very small group within TPI.
Mhm.
So I'm sure
Yes.
you all know each other. So
Yep.
in terms of, and I say that too, I'm a newcomer to the industry and I recognize how small the community of women is. And
Hmm.
it's amazing. I mean, the network in golf is incredible.
Yep.
But then when you dial down and drill down into the women in the space, obviously doing all sorts of things, which is really the purpose of having you on and having all these women pulled together, is because there's just, while it doesn't seem like a lot of us in the industry, there's
Hmm.
enough that it's just so fun to hear all the ways either a woman's gotten into the sport or what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool. So obviously, like in your role right now, what's like an average day look like for you?
Yeah.
Or week, if that's easier to answer.
Yeah. Average day in terms of operation is get to work. Part of my duty is checking people in, making sure that people move themselves around the golf course in a timely manner. So
Hmm.
pace of play is a big focus at our course. Drives me a little crazy. But we have an extremely difficult golf course to get around in.
Yeah.
So you're allowed
Mm-hmm.
4 hours and 20 minutes, which is a long amount of
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And but other than that, throughout my other responsibilities, I'm giving lessons and
Mm-hmm.
doing TPI screens, fitness training. Um, and then depending on the week, we will run tournaments for the
Mm-hmm.
members. And um, yeah, that's pretty
That's,
much,
I'm sure fills your days up quick. Now, is
yes.
there a favorite, a part of that week or those activities that are your favorite, where you're like, I love giving lessons, or
Oh
what
yeah,
is it?
teaching for
Yeah.
sure. Teaching and playing. We are fortunate enough to get some time to go out and play golf with members.
Hmm.
So I mean, I love to talk golf. That's kind of what's become of my latest jobs. Like being in a
Hmm.
gym was amazing because it was so golf, fitness, and health and wellness and eating well and sleeping well and
Hmm.
stuff that isn't super prominent in the golf business. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people think of golf and they think of going out in a golf cart in the afternoon and drinking cocktails and just stuff that like the gym was
For
different
some.
from.
Yeah.
Versus so now it's like I've realized, I mean, that's what excites me is talking golf, talking fitness, talking health, and helping people's golf game. A lot of the time it
Hmm.
can just be improved by simply having conversations and picking people's brains about their thought processes and how they approach their game and the strategy. But
Yeah.
yeah, teaching. Teaching and
You'd probably,
playing.
oh my gosh, I would love a lesson. I'm supposed to go out tomorrow, and it's the first time I've gone out in a long time with
Aw,
my
I would
parents. I
love to
know.
help you.
Oh my goodness. You'd probably like be like, get out of your head.
Nope. Yes, yes,
Oh
that, yeah.
yeah, for sure. I'm sure overthought thoughts for sure. So what's kind of next for you? Is there something, you're obviously you're busy with, all your certifications and just where you're going from there. Are there any, I think, big projects or certifications ahead, or something you're really striving to achieve over the next year, 5 years? What's that look like?
Yeah. Um, Playing is in the near future. I've got a couple tournaments coming up within our section. So what's kind of funny about being a woman in the business is they don't have a ton of women events. It's mainly
Hmm.
men's. So I go up and I compete against the guys, which is fine. I'm used to it. I mean, I work in a
Yeah.
world of men.
Hmm.
So tournaments, I'd like to, get some hardware in the PGA brought home.
Cool. That'd be so
And then
cool.
definitely certifications, TPI. And
Hmm.
truthfully, right now I'm grinding pretty hard on finding a club, whether it be Kiawah or it be another
Hmm.
place that is wants skill sets towards teaching and
Yep.
taking me on as a
Yeah,
teacher as part of their business.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and being able to do what you love and grow in
Hmm.
that role. That's exciting. It's exciting. Well,
Yeah.
obviously you're not afraid of change and taking that leap to get where you want to go. So
Yeah.
it's very, very fun to just hear more about you. And I know we're gonna have a lot of fun things to watch as you grow into, I mean, you're young. You've got
Yeah.
like it's amazing where you've come. And can I ask how old you are?
I'm 26.
Oh my gosh, you're like a little baby. It makes me
Yeah,
feel
there's
old.
a lot of
Um,
time.
there is, but you are incredibly accomplished for your age, and it's obviously a
Thank
very
you.
motivated and driven person. So it's cool. Whatever you've set your heart to, I know you'll get there.
Thank
I
you.
can't thank you enough for spending the time with us, just so we can hear your story and share it with everybody. And again, keep eyes on
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. And I'm so happy to share my story and to work with an awesome women-based
Yeah.
company like you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a fun network of people. And I know, I mean, in the apparel space, there's so many women doing like really cool things, and it's fun because
Mhm.
it's diversifying the options for somebody like you, and it's just so needed, and it's, I think, very
Yeah.
fun. I have some people outside of the industry that are like, oh, are they competition? And I'm like, I mean, yes, but we're all just kind of doing something so different, and women are
Yeah.
so underserved that it's like, I mean, yes and no, but I don't know.
Right.
I also feel like we're kind of all very close in some way too. We all cross paths. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
nice that
there's
it's
a
not
market
some,
for so many things. And I
yeah.
mean, it's kind of just like it's whatever way you want to approach it and how you guys
Mm-hmm.
have made like my life so much easier. And I don't know if anyone said this, so I want to make sure
You're
that I tell
sweet.
you is like going to like events when we have, for example, like a men's member guest. How easy
Yeah.
is it for a guy to show up with nice
Oh,
pants
I
on,
know.
button up shirt, and a
Yeah.
blazer? And then me, I'm like, it's 50 degrees and I have no cross between like business casual and golf casual.
Yeah.
And I don't want to roll
Yeah.
in looking like your food and beverage manager. Like, I want to be respected as a golf professional, but where are the clothes to do it?
Yeah.
And you
It
guys
is.
are those
Thanks.
people.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
been fun to kind of, yeah, merge that line between the two, and found this like sophisticated option that's just servicing, I think, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
professional women in the sport, and out, I mean, and fringes on the outside of the sport. But yeah, it's really cool. And it's, I mean, it's kind of where I fell into golf the most, was as a professional, having to go, with my boss and all these other people in
Mm-hmm.
a company to go play golf. And I was like, oh, the last thing I want to do is like show up in some too
Outfit.
cute little golf
Yeah.
outfit. And I don't know, it just was always so complicated. I agree. So
Mm-hmm. So much
I
thought,
know.
and it doesn't need to be.
No, heck no. I know. Well, I'm so glad you always look so cute and wonderful in it. So we're proud to
Thank
support
you.
you and everything you do. But thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sarah, so much for the time.
Yeah, thank you. It's been so fun
Yeah.
to get to know you and so fun to be on here.
I know. This is the best part about women in golf, because then when we actually cross paths in person, it's like, I know you. Like,
Yeah.
we've like actually, not just talked on Instagram and email. It just definitely brings us all together, which is really fun. So we're excited to
Yeah.
have you on this women in golf group. So very
Yeah.
cool. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.